Hello, everyone. Dan here from the Next Issue Podcast. On today's video, I'll be doing a review for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: The Last Ronin 2 Re-Evolution number 1. That is quite a mouthful, but this is a new comic from IDW and a sequel to the Last Ronin storyline. So, this book is written it has a story by Tom Waltz and Kevin Eastman. We have multiple artists. We have Ben Bishop, Esau Escorza, and Isaac Escorza, with colors by Luis Antonio Delgado, letters by Shawn Lee. So, first of all, if you haven't read The Last Ronin, I'm gonna have to get into spoilers because this is the sequel to that. So I highly recommend you go check it out. The Last Ronin is such a fantastic read. It is so much fun. So, in this book, more than a decade after The Last Ronin defeated the Foot Clan in New York City, finds itself in a steady state of decline. Now, the disparate gangs vie for the economic and political control, and that the chaos is taking its toll. It's clear to Casey Marie that if something isn't done soon, the city she knows and she loves will be lost forever. So, whether they're ready or not, her and her young pupils must raise a new coalition and lead the charge to keep the peace. Witness the rise of the new next generation of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles as they fight to restore peace to the streets they live below. Legendary creator Kevin Eastman proudly presents the next epic chapter of The Last Ronin, reassembling the acclaimed creative team from the original monster bestseller for a second oversized prestige format miniseries. So I don't know exactly how many issues this is going to be, but I have a good feeling that it should be about the same length of the original Last Ronin. Well, they've only announced two so far, and we know that these are kind of separate. Now, I don't think this will take the Last Ronin. Unfortunately, for a lot of things, there was a lot of delays. Right, it took almost like, I believe the first issue came out somewhere around the beginning of 2020, and of course, a lot of things happened, and it didn't end till like, I believe last year, early last year or something. So it took a while. I don't think this book is going to take that long to come out. So, but let's talk about this specific issue. First of all, this book kicks off very quickly, dropping you right in the middle of action, and that's one of the reasons I wanted to recommend that you go read The Last Ronin. At least you don't have to read The Lost Years if you don't. I think that series illuminates a little bit more into the new Ninja Turtles, and we go over who they are in a second. But very quick pacing, really just going all for it. The main art is very fitting, grungy, dystopian. It looks like the world that we left, even a little bit worse for wear. We do get to see the new turtles. We get to see their designs are they're so much different than the original turtles, which I really appreciate how they are making them even more distinct. So I really appreciate that as well. As I mentioned, we have multiple artists, and this is because, like in the original book, we had different flashback or exposition pages that are done in different art styles, and it really works, right? Um, whether it's thinking of the past or giving us a quick recap of who the turtles are or how we got here, the book kind of works that in very seamlessly. Now, I will say there are a lot of two-page layouts in this series, and I think that could be a little bit hard to follow when it comes to the dialogue, right? Because normally in a comic, you're used to getting to the middle of a page and kind of coming back down to the next bubble. But when you have a two-page layout, you just have to keep going. So the review copy that I did, the PDF, is broken up into single pages. So multiple times I had to like make sure I was reading the right page. So it was a little bit of it was interesting. It was an interesting read. I can't wait to get this book physically and just kind of go back over it. But that was really my main qualm about this is just the amount of two-page spreads. Now, that being said, they look awesome. They look really great. There's a lot of dialogue in this. This is very dialogue heavy, a lot of narration, a lot of exposition. So hopefully that won't be something that affects your read. And of course, as we get to the end of this oversized issue, we have one of the most shocking endings that I didn't even know. Like it really came out of nowhere. I expected this story to be a little bit more straightforward, and it is not. It is definitely not. So let's go take a look at some of the preview art, so you can see some of the things that I'm talking about. And here's one of the first few pages. This is the first double spread, and you can see how they just go all out for it. Look how many characters are introduced. Like, not introduced as you're gonna have to follow everyone, but like the world that you're being dropped in is kind of a mess, and you can tell by the way that this fight is going. We get to see Casey Marie's new outfit, and interesting enough, there's a lot of shades of Shredder in it, which is an interesting choice. I wonder how that will play out. Uh, when I first started reading this and I saw this page, I was like, wait a minute, does the Shredder have more family that I'm not aware of? And yeah, the art is just, it's insane. It's brutal when it needs to be. There's some really cool, I'll say really cool violence. But yeah, this is great. I really enjoyed. See, this is one of the pages that's actually broken up in half. We don't have the other page to preview, so yeah, it's really interesting that the previous kind of comes that way. Now, here's where I'm gonna do a little bit of a bigger spoiler. If you haven't read the first series and you haven't read the Lost Years, I'm gonna introduce the new turtles just so that everyone knows who each one of them are. We have a little short video on the channel, and I really mean like on YouTube Shorts, that explains who each one of them is in the most simplistic of ways, and I think that's just the best approach for this. So let's take a look at the turtles. So here we have, starting with Odin. He's the big boy. He's the funny guy. He's the goofball, very much the Michelangelo equivalent. Then up at the top we have Moja. He's got a little bit of a shade of red, so that should give you an inclination, especially that angry phase. That should give you an inclination of like, oh yeah, this is definitely the Ralph equivalent. We have Yi, who I really like Yi's design. I think Donatello was always my favorite one, and Yi appears to be the smart one, the technology based dude. So, and of course we have Uno, who is the leader and kind of like the Leonardo equivalent. But they, even though they have kind of their equivalencies to the original turtles, they are pretty different. They have some like, they're not just carbon copies of the original turtles. They have their own little designs. They have their own little quirks about them. So yeah, it's very interesting. It's not as straightforward as it seems. But I wanted to present them in a way that was easy to kind of understand. And then of course we have the designs from when they're all grown up, which they look really cool. And all I will say is, as you go through this, make sure that first of all you pick out a favorite turtle, because that's what it's all about. But maybe as you get through this, just know that things are going to get really crazy and really wild. So I'm very excited to see what other people have to say about this book. And I really want to know, if you have read this, let me know what you thought about it down in the comments. So as always, thank you for watching, everyone. Remember to share, like, subscribe, hit the bell so you know when we go live. That is most Saturdays, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. Stay tuned. We have more comic reviews, trailer reactions, TV recaps, all that fun stuff here in the channel. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye-bye.